I'm Bob Barron, talking to you again from my little office here in Southern California. It's a rainy day out here, but of course we always need this rain. It's been raining for several days, just on and off, so it's good stuff. But I'm not here to talk about the weather. I just wanted to share something with you about a book I've been reading, and it's called The Best Kind of College. Hope you can kind of see down the screen. And the reason I want to share this is because I think it's really an important and a valuable book. I've been a teacher for a long time, since 1965, and this is called The Best Kind of College, and that may imply that if you're looking for a college for your son or daughter or grandchild to go to, that's probably what the book is intended for. It lists some 25 colleges in this country, small ones, with enrollments of 1,000 to 2,500 people or so, which is pretty small. When I went to UC Berkeley a long time ago for my undergraduate degree, there were at least, 25,000 people on that campus, and I liked it. I really enjoyed it. But so I guess the point is that you have to be a person who wants to be on a small campus to go to a place like this. At least maybe you don't even know what you want to go to, but if you have some kind of an idea about it, you better know where you want to go, because these are small colleges. They're in various places in this country. There happen to be 5 in Southern California, 4 on one campus in Claremont, 3 in Oregon, 2 in Portland, but there are colleges also in the east part of the country, Maine, Massachusetts, some in the south, in Georgia, Midwest, Illinois, Ohio. So there are various locations, listed in this book, but there are 25 of them. What makes this book so good, I believe, is you've got people who have been teaching in these places, and some have been teaching for quite a while, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. That's a long time to teach. So I would say they know something about what teaching is about. But so they tell about their teaching experiences. They tell their attitudes towards their students and towards their subject. I find this book, I have been finding, I'm not quite finished with it, but I find it fun to read. Of course, I'm a reader. That's what I've been teaching in college more recently. I'm a reading teacher, but it's a fun book for me to read, and especially to find so much information. So if you have a son or daughter or grandchild who's looking for a place to go, this may be a book to look at. It's not a cheap book, probably $75 or $80, but perhaps your local library might buy one for you. I mean, I think it should be in libraries, actually. It should be in people's hands, because it just came out towards the end of last year, 2015. And so if you're looking for a place for your son or daughter or grandchild or some other person in your family to go to, this is a good volume to look at to get an idea what college is about. Most of these places I've never even been to. Of course, I've been to a couple of them, but most I have not. So I was on the internet today looking up all these places, the ones especially I don't know, looking at enrollments. That's how I got the numbers. But there's something else more important, perhaps, or as important as the kind of college it is, or the location, and that is the endowment. What's rather astounding, at least for me it was, there are 3 of these small colleges that have an endowment of over $1 billion. 5 had an endowment close to that. 6 had endowments in the millions. Now, just to put into perspective, Harvard University, which has 21,000 students, it said online today that they have an endowment of $37.6 billion. And so what you have to look at is that translates into how much money they could have available, to help students who may need it. And of course, that is the important word here. If you have a family that can afford to pay for the education, which these days costs, I get $35,000, $45,000, $50,000 or more per year, then I guess you'll do it. You can be expected to do it. But if you're a family that doesn't, there's a certain bar you have to meet. If you don't have that much income, or discretionary income as they would call it, then you may have a person who's eligible to qualify for some kind of help from one of these colleges. So I'd say look at the book, look at these colleges and then do as I did, look online to see how much endowment they may have and other factors, other attributes these colleges have. But the book is important, I think, also for teachers. I mean, I wish this had been available when I was teaching, and I got my teacher education at San Francisco State College a long time ago. Again, we're talking about 50 years ago. It was a good education, I'm sure, but we went to class, we listened to professors, we had experiences out in the class, out in the schools, etc. We read books. But here in one volume, I mean, I can read the experiences and the opinions of 29 professors. I mean, that's rather wonderful, I believe. That's why I'm even talking about this book. I find it a good book, and as a teacher, of course, I can afford to buy it. As a person who's looking for a place, $80 could be expensive, but it may well be worth it. This is not an advertisement as such. It's just that I think the book is worth looking at somehow or other. What else can I tell you? Gosh. I would say, if you can, look at the book. If you have a child or a grandchild who's looking to go to college, even if that person is still in high school, it's a good time to start looking. And of course, that may give your family member a chance to be diligent about that. We're not necessarily talking about straight A's, but we're certainly talking about good grades and motivation to do things. And really, it counts to have some kind of other kind of things that you're doing. Maybe you work, have a job, or you're helping in some social way, in some perhaps some charity or other place in your town, or helping the older people. Something like that also helps to get into a college these days. That's about all I can tell you about this, folks. And again, I hope you can see this on the screen. As always, I say thanks for looking. The kids say have a good day. These days, I say have a good life, because that's really what it's about. It's more than one day long. Take care. Thanks for looking. Bye-bye.